For 5 centuries, the name Leonardo da Vinci has been synonymous with genius, artist, anatomist, inventor. His mind soared beyond the confines of his era, conceiving worlds yet to be born. His paintings have been studied for their secrets, his anatomical drawings for their precision. We believe we know his story, but buried deep within his private notebooks, hidden for centuries among thousands of pages, lies an anomaly, a design so far ahead of its time it defies explanation. It has been called a curiosity, a mechanical doodle, an unsolved puzzle. But recent analysis suggests it is something far more profound, a blueprint for a machine that should not exist, a machine that could force us to rewrite the very first chapter in the story of modern technology. When Leonardo died in 1519, he left behind a treasure trove of intellectual property, over 13,000 pages of notes and drawings. But this inheritance was not preserved. It was scattered, sold, and lost. For centuries, entire volumes vanished, their contents unknown. It wasn't until 1965 that 2 of his lost notebooks were rediscovered in the National Library of Spain. They became known as the Madrid Codices. Inside Codex Madrid I, among designs for fortifications and mechanical devices, is a sketch that has puzzled historians ever since. At first glance, it appears to be a complex array of 13 interlocking wheels, each ringed with gear teeth and marked with numbers. It looks like the intricate guts of a clock, but a closer look reveals a logic that has nothing to do with telling time. The wheels are arranged in sequence. The annotations, written in Leonardo's famous mirrored script, hint at functions of counting and tallying. The mechanism itself seems to embody a principle that would not be formally invented for another 150 years, the concept of a carryover. When one wheel completes a full rotation, it engages a gear that nudges the next wheel forward by 1 position. In modern terms, this is the fundamental principle of a mechanical calculator, a device capable of automated arithmetic. The problem? The sketch is dated to roughly 1493, and according to the established history of technology, such a machine was simply unthinkable in the 15th century. The official history of computation is a clear and well-documented lineage. It begins in 1623, when German professor Wilhelm Schickard designed what he called a calculating clock. Though his prototype was destroyed in a fire, his letters and sketches survived, earning him the title of pioneer. 2 decades later, in 1642, the French prodigy Blaise Pascal, at just 19 years old, created a more robust machine, the Pascaline. It was the first mechanical calculator to be commercialized, a brass box of gears designed to help his father with tax audits. Then, in 1673, the universal genius Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz introduced the stepped reckoner, a revolutionary device capable not only of addition and subtraction, but also multiplication and division. These 3 men, Schickard, Pascal, and Leibniz, are considered the founding fathers of mechanical computation. Their work laid the foundation for the calculating machines of the Industrial Revolution, and eventually for the engines of Charles Babbage, the conceptual ancestors of the modern computer. This is the orthodox history, a neat, linear progression of innovation. But Leonardo's sketch sits more than a century before the starting line, a historical paradox. For generations, scholars dismissed it. It was too ambiguous, too incomplete. Some argued it was merely a study of gear ratios, unrelated to calculation. The safest approach was to treat it as an outlier and leave the official timeline undisturbed. But what if the drawing wasn't ambiguous at all? What if we just lacked the tools to read it? In recent years, a new field of science has emerged at the intersection of history and technology: computational archaeology. Using non-invasive techniques like multispectral imaging, researchers can now peer beneath the surface of ancient documents, revealing details invisible to the human eye. A team of engineers and historians decided to apply this technology to Leonardo's mysterious sketch. The fragile page was scanned with meticulous precision, capturing every fiber of the paper, every faint trace of ink in resolutions measured in microns. The goal was to create a perfect digital twin of the drawing, one that could be manipulated and analyzed without harming the original. The first step was to digitally remove the noise of time, the stains, the bleeding ink, the overlapping sketches from the reverse side of the page. Then, the AI algorithms went to work. They were trained to recognize Leonardo's unique shorthand, to differentiate between intentional lines and accidental marks, and to reconstruct strokes that had faded over 5 centuries. What emerged was staggering. The AI reconstruction confirmed that the gear ratios and tooth counts were not random. They were precisely calibrated for a base 10 system, the foundation of modern arithmetic. Faint annotations, previously illegible, were revealed to be labels for number, rotate, and carry. There was no longer any doubt. This was not a doodle. It was a fully conceived blueprint for a 13-digit mechanical calculator. But the scans revealed something more unsettling. The AI highlighted areas where the ink was thicker, the lines deliberately scratched out and overwritten. Leonardo hadn't just designed this machine. It appeared he had tried to obscure parts of it, to hide it in plain sight. The revelation sent a shockwave through the academic community. The 20th century replicas, built from incomplete interpretations, had been functional but crude. This new, digitally restored blueprint was elegant, efficient, and mechanically sound. Leonardo da Vinci had not only conceived of mechanical calculation, he had perfected a design for it in the 1490s. This forces a profound question. Why was it never built? And why did he seemingly conceal it?
We must consider the world Leonardo inhabited. The late 15th century was a time of immense change, but it was also a world governed by tradition and faith. Mathematics was a scholastic art, a human endeavor. A machine that could perform this mental process automatically, without human thought, might have been viewed with deep suspicion. Would it be considered alchemy? A form of dark magic? Leonardo was famously cautious. He wrote of his submarine design, "This I do not divulge, on account of the evil nature of men, who would practice assassinations at the bottom of the sea." He understood that some knowledge could be dangerous if released before its time. A calculating machine could have revolutionized trade, architecture, and astronomy. But in the wrong hands, it could also disrupt the social order, disempowering the educated guilds that held a monopoly on calculation. Did Leonardo look at his own creation and see not a tool for progress, but a seed of chaos? Did he decide that humanity was not yet ready for it? We can never know for certain. But the evidence of his own hand, scratching out the most critical parts of the mechanism, suggests a conscious act of suppression. He chose to leave his calculator as a ghost in the machine, an idea too powerful to destroy, but too dangerous to build. The story of Leonardo's calculator is more than just a historical correction. It recontextualizes the very nature of innovation. It suggests that progress is not a linear march forward, but a complex landscape of lost paths and forgotten peaks of brilliance. The idea of automated computation did not begin in the 17th century. It began in the mind of a Renaissance artist who saw the future and, perhaps, decided to put it back on the shelf. The discovery challenges our modern arrogance. We use computational devices every second of our lives, assuming them to be a product of our own time. Yet the foundational concept has been lying dormant for over 500 years, waiting for a different kind of technology, our own, to finally bring it to light. Leonardo's forbidden machine may have never been built from wood and metal, but its rediscovery has constructed something far more important: a new understanding of our past and a humbling reminder of the enduring power of a single revolutionary idea. It makes one wonder, what other secrets lie hidden in the archives, waiting for the right eyes to see them?